Twa. I don't-
Blah.
Oh wait, who's starting? Did you tell me to start or you?
It's just both of us. Hey guys, guess
I
who's
know, right?
here? Who's here, Neen? Who are we?
Oh, we are the Totally 90s podcast. I can't even talk. That totally threw me off. But we're the Totally 90s podcast. I'm
We sure.
Justine and
I'm Steph, and so sorry. We're in a
Woo.
goofy mood right now because we were just having an amazing gossip sesh, a catch-up
Yes,
sesh, which is
we were.
why we were like, "Whoops, who's saying hi first today?"
I tell you, I know. I was just totally taken back. I got some good news that, I didn't have to go into work. So, yay.
Now that is a happy Friday because as we're
Isn't
recording,
it?
it does happen to be Friday, which means a brand new episode of Fridays with Neen just dropped. So if you haven't
Yes.
listened to it, go take a listen and make sure the
Yeah.
kids are in the next room, okay?
Okay. No, I'm
Oh,
like, yeah, it's so funny. So I'll tell the people what we were debating with last. So the whole episode of Fridays with Neem was something different that you're not different, but like me, we were just talking about this. Like you and I always want to be transparent and we also want to be maybe push the envelope a little bit, but not too much to where we offend people. And I
right.
think that we're just very considerate, sensitive people that, love everyone, but at the same time, we want to have a good time.
Hmm.
So since yesterday, we both were kind of going back and forth about, oh, was that like, we don't want to also make it uncomfortable also for our partners
Right.
too, like
Right.
our spouses. So, did we disclose too much? Did we not?
Yeah.
So, but I think, like I said, I think we tastefully did it. We had fun. And that's the whole premise when it comes to sex. I feel like we just have to have fun.
Exactly. That's the whole point.
Hmm.
And procreating, I guess, but like that's
Yes.
the whole point.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, even when you are doing it, like shoot, it's always fun to laugh
Oh
after.
my God. Or
You know?
during.
Yes, exactly. Have fun with it. Like you may
Exactly.
like fart. Like things
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, exactly. You may get the hiccups. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry. Can I have a question? Did my screen go blank? Or
No,
did you still see me?
your beauty
Oh,
was still shining
okay.
through.
I'm so Zoom like technology like that. I'm so like I don't know. I maybe because I wasn't working during the pandemic. I feel like the pandemic forced everybody to get really educated with,
Yeah,
technology. I'm
definitely.
still like 5 years back. But anyways, how are you though, Steph? How's your Friday going so far?
It's going amazing. I started it off by listening to the latest episode of Fridays with Neen. So I was having
Whoop,
a
whoop.
grand time just laughing my butt off as we always do when we're together. And guess what tonight is? The prom.
Okay, so tell me about this. Okay, I mean, you've told me about it already. So,
Mhm.
people, because who was it? Tony actually said, "Wait,
Yeah.
Steph said she's going to the prom," and he actually cutely thought you were going to like a high school
Oh,
prom.
oh my goodness. Oh
I know he
my
didn't understand, so I explained it to him. But for those that don't know, so what is this about?
God. Okay. So as you're aware, I did not
Mhm.
go to my high school prom. I didn't go to
Neither did
junior
I.
prom. I was like, senior prom. I don't know why I didn't go to the senior. I just didn't like, I didn't want, it didn't interest me. I don't know. It was so expensive. And I was like, why? So I missed out on that. And looking back, yes, I regret it. But actually during the month of Pride, I didn't know this until like
Mhm.
a few years back that they hold a queer prom, actually several in the city, probably in other cities too. And I was like, oh my God, Angel didn't go to her prom. I go, I want to do a promposal like they do, like,
I
like the
love
kids do
it.
today. So my Zumba family helped me surprise her a few weeks ago. And I asked her to be my prom date. And it's going to be held at the Fairmont in San Francisco.
Wow. I didn't
Yes.
know it was that regal.
Yes, it's
Hello.
very regal and it's just amazing. I think there's gonna be like performances and it's music and there's the bars there and
Hmm.
all like proceeds go to like benefit a cause. So it's
Oh, I
it's
love
fun for a
this.
good cause. And stupidly, so when I was looking for the prom, queer
Uh-huh.
prom, I first registered for the San Francisco LGBT Center.
Hmm.
I got it, and then I realized, oh. oh, no alcohol. What? And it wasn't clicking. It's only for ages 18 to 24. And I got an email the other day saying, sorry, you're too old, so you can't come. I mean, it was nicely written, but
Oh my
they directed me
gosh.
to another prompt. By then I had already figured it out and I got tickets
Uh-huh.
to this. But I'm trying to see if I can get us like one of those luxury car Ubers to come
Uh-huh.
get us. Like,
Oh
what?
my gosh, that would be amazing. So wait, so what are you wearing?
I'm wearing a royal blue long dress and it's got like a little
Nice.
slit and a slit on the leg.
Oh,
Very,
exciting.
very like regal. And Angel, oh, she is wearing, but we're doing our looks from like, we went to a James Bond party a few years ago. So like
Hmm.
she's gonna be wearing like a jacket, a little bow tie, a little button down
Oh,
shirt. She's gonna look so hot.
are
Like,
you
oh
guys having corsages?
shit. I should have done that. Where do I find one
You could
now?
just go to
The
a
flowers from the store
florist.
here. Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah,
do
and I'm
that.
pretty sure they could whip one up real quick. It's easy.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I
Oh, I
know.
have to do
I didn't
that.
realize it was this Friday. I mean, I did, and I would have totally bought you guys one. Damn it.
Oh, of course you would have. You're our fairy gay mother.
Oh, I like that title.
I love it.
That's
Oh
so
my
cute.
God.
Oh my
Well,
gosh, I'm so excited.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get, if I can't find a corsage anywhere, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get like flowers at the store and I'll do a little boutonniere for
Yes.
her.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. I love that. Oh my gosh, that's perfect. I
Um,
can't wait to see photos.
oh, they're gonna be, I'm gonna take so many pictures. I have a tiara. I want to put it on her though, because she's my
Oh,
beauty queen.
oh my gosh, this is fantastic. You know what? Because I never went to prom. I wonder if Tony went to prom. We never really talked about that. That's
Ooh,
interesting. And Karen never went
pass.
either.
No, no. I think
Huh.
no, I think she went to one, but she went with just with friends. So like
Okay.
this time she's gonna go with a date.
Wow.
Rumor has it her date's easy, but I'm done.
Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so exciting. So we're going to be getting together this Sunday,
Yeah, we are.
and I am so
I can't
excited.
wait to see you in person.
Same here, and I can't wait to hear all about it.
I can't
And
wait.
I
I
don't know.
can't
So we're
wait.
going to go wine tasting,
We sure are.
and it's just going to be fantastic.
It is going to be fantastic. And P.S., how are you today? Because you now have a day off,
I
well
do. Yay,
deserved.
yay, yay. It's great. It's payday. Everything's
Hey.
wonderful. It's blue outside.
Oh,
Uh, yeah. I don't know. I'm just very, very excited for Sunday.
well, also,
I don't
you know
know.
what? Neen, your favorite holiday is approaching, not holiday, but season. It like summer is officially a
Yes,
few days away, like
it is.
or a week or
Yeah, the
two.
21st, right?
Mhm.
So I'm actually looking at the weather right now because El Nino is
Ay,
here.
Dios.
I don't know if you've seen the news stuff. I don't know.
Oh,
People are talking all about El Nino and how like the ocean's temperature is changing.
oh
And
God.
honestly, I don't want to say like I see it because maybe it's I don't know. But I could feel it. We could feel it in the air over here where we live because usually by May it's already hot. It's already like in the 90s, and by now it's in the hundreds.
Oh my
And
God.
literally for the past 3 weeks it's been in the 70s. And we had like
Mhm.
one day that was 95. So I'm looking at the weather, and not this Sunday, but the next Sunday will be 96. So I'm really excited, and I hope it just keeps going and going.
Wait, how's the weather going to be for wine tasting?
It's going to be nice. Actually, it's going to be 81, but it's going to be
Oh,
have cloud coverage. So it's
okay,
not going to be
okay,
full sun, which is good.
okay.
Cuz
Amazing.
we don't want like we don't when you're wine tasting, you really don't want it to be super hot. So,
No, I don't want to be wearing like my outfit backwards or on my
no.
head.
Cuz I think the first time we went wine tasting at that winery, I
Yeah.
think it was hella hot, remember? And remember
Wait, oh,
or
I'm
was
so
it when we went shopping?
it was when we went shopping
It
and there
was
was
when
ash in the air.
That's right. And it was so hot that day,
It
and
was so
I think you
hot.
wore a
I
sweater.
wore leggings and
That's
a
right.
t-shirt. But like I was like, why didn't I wear a dress? But then I would have gotten thigh rub. So like I think
And
it was
nobody likes that.
no.
Have you tried is it called Mega Babe? Have you tried that?
Oh, I've heard of it. I need to get
Mm-hmm.
some
Ooh,
because yeah, is it
it
worth it?
works
Okay.
like magic.
Okay. You are the guru of all things. So I'm going to ask you here on the air because
Mm-hmm.
maybe people have the same question I do. So,
Sure.
can you please recommend the perfect strapless bra?
Ooh, you know, honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. I have not found one.
Oh shit. I was hoping you were gonna like tell
Honestly, I don't even, you know what it is that if you have small boobies,
me. Oh, you can just go
you could,
commando.
exactly, you could have any type of strapless bra and it's going to work.
Uh-huh.
But when you don't, it's not, I don't think a strapless bra is really made for people like us that are, bigger
I'm
than a size
so
B,
yeah,
C,
yeah. I'm disappointed because I bought one and I feel like it's like, what are you doing? You're just covering the nips. But like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I don't want to look like an
Does it
orangutan.
have wire in it?
Yes.
Okay. So what I would suggest, because I feel like you want it to be comfortable too, because I feel like a lot of times with strapless bras, the it's really tight in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
they do that so it supports it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, okay, maybe the front looks okay, but then you have like a big
Back
ass
fat.
llanta in the back,
Yeah.
like what the hell, right?
Yeah.
And it just doesn't look right when you put your dress on or whatever. Then you have that big roll hanging over, right? So,
Yes.
and it just looks awkward.
Yeah.
So what I would suggest is I would say get a sock, but if you have like chicken cutlet or whatever, that will help. Even though like the strapless bra isn't very supportive, if you
Okay.
have support underneath your own boobs, like literally, it'll make it look better. And it'll look better in the dress or outfit that you have. So that'll
Amazing.
just add a little lift.
Phenomenal. See, you're welcome, ladies. Thank you, because I
Yeah.
have been on the hunt for the perfect strapless bra, just a strapless bra for like my summer dresses and off the shoulder top. Like I want to wear them. I have my tat. Like I want to
Hmm.
blaze it this summer.
Okay, so I do have a couple suggestions for that. And I think I told you this. Um, Skims has a strapless bra, but it's a specific one because they have a few. And it's like I'll have to send it to you. It's like nylon
Okay.
and it I actually have it and I like it.
Uh-huh.
My only problem is that it could be a little tight around your chest. Maybe I just needed a bigger size. I don't know, but it was but it was comfortable and it held them in and it actually had like binding on the top. So they were there. It's just it was
Okay.
a little bit uncomfortable on the side. So maybe that was my fault. So Skims have one. I'll send you the one I have. And of course for those off the shoulder ones, maybe one shoulder off, she has that one too where I don't did you buy that? Or maybe it's
No,
someone
I
else
need
I
to.
bought. But she has it's like a bralette and it
Okay.
has one strap on one side.
Nice.
And so you have the one shoulder and you could reverse it too.
Oh,
So
cool.
depending on which, shoulder you want to show or not, you could flip it around.
I need to just invest in, I mean, Skims always does it. You're so right. Because when I went shopping with you, I got bandeaus, but I think I
Hmm.
might have gotten the wrong size or whatever. I freaking like the top of my boobs were just, it did not look cute. It looked
Mm.
awful. It
See,
was
okay,
gross.
so another thing with bandeaus when you wear a strapless bra, that's another tip that I learned from an influencer is get a good fitting bandeau and put that over the strapless, and that actually will keep the strapless bra in place and make them look fine.
Oh,
Make them
good.
look good.
Okay.
I mean, I
Okay.
don't know. I have a thing about doing double bra. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But,
I
it might work. It worked for her. I don't know.
okay.
So,
Okay. I'm excited. Thank you.
that's
Oh,
my spiel
thank
on
you.
that.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. Sorry, guys. I just had to share the knowledge with you all. So
Mhm.
you're amazing. But
Yeah,
yeah.
it's complicated. It really is. So,
Oh,
what are we going to talk about today, Steph?
well, so seeing as we just discussed on Fridays with Neen, let's talk about sex, baby.
Baby.
We want to we want to keep the convo going. And also on the heels of the upcoming second season of And Just Like That, we
Hmm.
figured let's talk about Sex in the City.
Oh
What?
yeah.
The
Oh my
original
gosh.
series. The original
Phenomenal.
series. I mean,
Okay, so did you watch
yes.
Sex in the City from the get-go?
Not in the 90s because I didn't have
Yeah, me
HBO.
neither. Hmm.
I started watching it, I want to say, because it came out in 1990,
90,
98.
yeah.
It was late. We were still in high school, and it
Hmm.
started in June of 98.
Yeah, oh my
Um,
gosh, June 6th. That's almost like
yeah,
literally their
yeah.
anniversary.
Exactly. And yeah, we just a couple days ago.
Hmm.
And oh, that's right. They were celebrating it on TikTok.
Hmm.
I saw that.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch it until like 2000. I remember where I was. I was at Carrie's apartment and she had
Hmm.
HBO and she introduced me to it. And I was like, I need this. And
Oh
so
my
I,
gosh, that's so fitting though for this show, Carrie's apartment. Because at first I was like, Carrie's apartment. It didn't click because I was like, Carrie Bradshaw?
Carrie, my friend Carrie showed me
Uh-huh.
Carrie Bradshaw. Oh my
That is
God.
so funny.
And immediately I was, of course, drawn to Samantha Jones, my like
Hmm.
wide-eyed, like I was like, who is this incredible, amazing bombshell? I mean,
Hmm.
this show is so amazing. It is like, it's about four best friends who
Hmm.
live in New York and look fabulous all the time, say the word fabulous in every sentence,
Hmm.
spend all their money on, well, okay, I'm going to use Carrie as an example, but because Carrie
Hmm.
had no money, she was a
Hmm.
writer for a news for a sex column, and she spent
Right.
her what she had on Manolo Blahniks.
Yeah.
And what?
I
What's
kind
wrong
of
with this
feel
picture?
I kind of feel like she was us when
Yes.
we were right out of high school and we got our
Yes.
jobs
Oh
and
yeah.
we would go, I mean, we weren't getting Manolo Blahniks, but we were getting going to Target and spending our whole paycheck
No,
or to
Neen.
Tower Records.
Yes, or Abercrombie. I remember spending
Yes.
way too much money on really cute shirts at Abercrombie. What? I
Mhm.
would never
Right.
now.
Exactly. But she was the epitome of like single, no responsibility, just, her whole paycheck would go on something she was, a Louis Vuitton or whatever, something she was saving for. That was her
Right.
whole goal, is just buying good clothes.
Yes, yeah. And she looked great, don't get me wrong,
She
but
did.
I always wondered how she was able to get like all of shoes aside, she had like name brand outfits in her closet
Mhm.
before she became a best-selling book author. So this was in
Right.
season like in the beginning, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Mhm.
how? I understand how Miranda could afford it. I understand
Definitely.
how Charlotte could and
Mhm.
Samantha. I mean, they were
Mhm.
all established.
Yeah.
And I think the episode, like in season, like where she's trying to buy her apartment from Aiden, and we're gonna get into Aiden and Big.
Mhm.
And she's sitting and having lunch with her girlfriends, and she's like, wait a minute, she goes, who owns in the city? And then
Mhm.
Miranda's like, I do. And then Charlotte goes, I do. And then this one's all pissy. No, you got yours in the divorce. That's not the same thing. It's like, okay,
Ugh.
first of all, don't be salty that you're over here in this predicament, okay? And that
Exactly.
episode
Mm.
pisses me off. So don't even get me
Yeah.
started.
But that was a perfect
Yes.
explanation of how Carrie was.
Mm.
And I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago, or maybe we were just talking about it to each other, but how Carrie in general was. And I didn't really realize it when watching it
Right. Me
until
neither.
now.
Yep.
She's
What a shitty
just,
friend,
yeah.
shitty girlfriend.
Yeah. And she's very just like kind of, like couldn't be happy for people sometimes. Like
Never.
she was just very bitter.
Right. So before we do that, let's really quickly, let's say, okay, so this show follows the four best friends. We've got Carrie Bradshaw, played by Sarah Jessica Parker,
Mm-hmm.
Kim Cattrall as Samantha Jones, Kristen
Uh-huh.
Davis as Charlotte York, and Cynthia Nixon as Miranda Hobbs. So
Mm-hmm.
let's continue talking about Carrie. So
Yes.
like you said, I felt the same way back in the day. I was like, oh my God, I relate to Carrie so much. I love the way she loves when she tells Big, the unattainable boyfriend, she tells him, I just want you to stand still with me. I want to find somebody who'll stand still with me. You know, they're in the
Mm-hmm.
park and then he just stands there. And it's
Right.
like, I want that. Um, in my 40s now, which is
Mm-hmm.
what they're portraying back then,
Mm-hmm.
I she is so toxic. She
Yeah.
gets with Big. She's who clearly is unattainable. This man,
Yeah.
he never really was there for her until
No.
until when she finally gets him. Okay. And then
Mm-hmm.
she's like, we never go out anymore. But anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
like, so she and him, they have their issues. He leaves. She's depressed and has to bring her friends down. Like
Mm-hmm.
me, and they're tired of it. Then they get back together. They break up again because he's going to go to Paris now and doesn't bother telling her. She's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm gonna go, and then remember she like comes back. She's like, I'm gonna go to Paris with you. We'll make it work. And then he's
Yep.
like, but you're going to go to Paris just for yourself, right? Like, so this man is showing you
Yeah. He
that,
sees it.
yeah, exactly. And he's like, basically, like, I am trying to leave the country to get away from you. And like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't see this as a serious thing, right? So she
Right.
finally leaves. Her friends are like, we're so sick and tired of hearing about
Mm-hmm.
Big. So they direct her to get therapy, right?
Right.
Falls in love. Well, she doesn't fall in love. She immediately starts dating someone else. It's just like toxic, 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 toxic.
Yes.
But one of the things that sticks in my mind about her toxic behavior is when she meets a man that is in AA,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And he tries to avoid asking her out, but she doesn't understand. She's like, we're flirting, but I don't
Yes.
understand. So then she sees him one day with a man and she's like, if you're gay, that's okay. What? Just because he's not
Uh-huh.
asking you out, he's gay. But then he's like,
Exactly.
he explains, I'm in AA. I can't get into anything serious
Mm-hmm.
until at least a year. This isn't good enough for her. So then they go out on a date and she keeps trying to kiss him and he avoids it to protect himself.
Mm-hmm.
What happens, Neen? She gets him in her claws and
Mm-hmm.
then she leaves him high and dry and he is
Yep.
now relapsed.
Yeah.
And so that right there is the epitome of the
Mm-hmm.
selfishness of Carrie Bradshaw.
It is. And I think that she just like it just shows her toxic character and the fact
Oh,
that, and I think you see a lot of, I mean, I'm sure we know people like this, but
oh
it's that
yeah.
whole like bratty,
Uh-huh.
um, you know, like I'm gonna get whatever I want and I don't care. And
Oh, it
then
hurts.
once I have you, then I'll do whatever I want with you and move on and I don't
Mhm.
care who I hurt, you
Perfect.
know? And she really did, and honestly, with the stuff that she pulled like that, because that really broke me when I saw that episode. I felt so bad for him because he had already told her. And of course, it goes with that whole thing, like some people could say, well, he could have just stopped her, but she was so persistent and so pushy. But and it wasn't even, and that was, I guess, the thing for me. When it comes down to it, like, was it even the fact that did she even really like him, or was it the
No.
fact that she couldn't get him, so she needed
Yep.
to prove that she could?
You hit it right there.
And I was like,
Totally.
gosh, that just says a lot about your damn character, because this man's pouring his heart out and being honest with you,
Yeah.
saying, I have a problem and I don't want to get into something. And you could care less about what he's going through. It's all about me. And the fact that
Mhm.
whatever was going on with Big, she needed to prove something to herself that she could still get someone after the fact, right? That she
Exactly.
still had it.
Yes. And we see that behavior again when she starts dating Aiden and he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want things to get physical and for the sweetest, I mean, he's the perfect man. And he's like,
He
I do not
is.
want to sleep with someone until, I know it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be serious. And she kept getting pissy. She'd be
Mm-hmm.
like, try to kiss, you want to come in? And you want to come in? No. You want to come in? No. Finally, you want to come in? And then he's like, and then he starts to talk and she's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to go home, your dog, whatever. And then she throws a
Mm-hmm.
fit. Fast forward to later on in the episode, he like makes her that bath. And then he's like, you enjoy, I'm going to leave. What does
Mm-hmm.
she do? She's like, small tub. Wait, wait.
Mm-hmm.
Big tub, little person. And then he gets in the tub. And then she's all, okay, time to get out of the tub. Like after they've been there for a while, he's like, come on, let's just do it. And she's like, no, we want it to be serious, right? Like, shut up, Carrie. But the ultimate for meaning, the ultimate cherry on the cake. And let's see if you agree with me
Mm-hmm.
because you might have your own.
Mm-hmm.
When she and Big have the affair, and she
Mm-hmm.
cheats on Aiden, who's the perfect guy who loves her unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
And when he breaks up with her because of it, and she's like, I was just trying to be honest with you. Can you just forgive me? It's like, I have my flaw and la 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 la. Okay. When she has the nerve to seek out Natasha to get
Mm-hmm.
Natasha's forgiveness, and she interrupts her lunch and stalks her all over the
Yeah.
city and sits down.
See?
That was
Mm-mm.
the ultimate. I was like, you are so selfish. And then
She
Natasha
is.
tells her where to go. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Oh, for real. I mean, I was like, okay, bring it, Natasha, because honestly, um, I don't know what's gonna make her understand her
Oof.
immaturity and her ridiculousness because I can't with Carrie.
Where
Like
does she get
the
off?
older I get, I just
I
you know
can't.
I can, and it's sad because I do like Sarah Jessica
I
Parker,
do too.
but then when I think about like the quarrel between her and Kim
Yeah.
Cattrall,
Yeah.
but I think about Carrie's character,
Yeah, I know. Me too.
and I'm like, okay, because in reality, Samantha, if Samantha was a real person in reality, Carrie would be, they would be rivals
Hmm.
because, and Samantha, like she has many times, is like, you know what, move on, you don't need them.
Hmm.
Like she's the kind of woman that gets stuck on people and then it becomes about her.
Yeah.
And that's how it was with Aiden. It's just like she remembers stuff that they say and then she throws it back in their face because she'll get what she wants, but only to a certain extent. And that's the perfect example with the bath scene. She
Ugh.
wanted it, but then she's gonna try and be like, oh, but da, da, da. I'm like, okay. You know what? So you entice them and then you throw things in their face.
Right. When she when
She's
she
very
practically
vindictive.
she is. Remember when she practically forced them to get back together? She wouldn't leave him alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finally agrees and she's all upset because she's not in the crook in the nook of his arm at night. He
Uh-huh.
keeps like push he doesn't trust her yet. And
Mm-hmm.
the end of the episode, she's saying over and over again, you have to forgive me. You
Mm-hmm.
have to forgive me.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't like that Big calls you. And then
Mm-hmm.
what does she say? He's in my life. What? So
Okay.
you begged this man back, and you still have your ex in your
Yep.
life?
She
Oh my
plays,
God.
she's the queen of playing games. She is, and I guess that's why because even watching it, like, because I watched it like you, I didn't watch it from the get-go, like right
Mhm.
when it first came out. It was later, like in the 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Um, but in the beginning, when I watched her, I was just like, gosh, she irritated me for sure with her
Hmm.
antics. But stuff like that, it's just like it's okay for her to do these things with these men, but God forbid they do things to her. And Aiden did honestly, okay, between Aiden and Big, I mean, we all know who everybody, I mean, who do you like more?
If I were her, I would have wanted to have ended up with Aiden
Mm-hmm.
because he truly loved her
Mm-hmm.
and respected her and didn't play games with her.
Mm-hmm.
Big, I get the appeal because he's the unattainable. And
Mm-hmm.
in the end, he proved that he loved her, but it wasn't to her standards. And then when she
Right.
had somebody with the standards above and beyond, it somehow she wasn't happy with that. She wore his engagement ring around her neck.
Mm-hmm.
She broke out into hives dramatically,
Yes,
trying
right.
on wedding dresses. But here we have, but Big, she was just like, because her heart always belonged to him. But
Mm-hmm.
my vote will always be Aiden.
Mm-hmm.
Always. What about you?
No, I mean, I think I put myself in my own shoes and I would pick Aiden in a heartbeat.
Exactly.
But I see the intrigue with Big
Oh
and it fits
yeah.
her character because, like
Yeah.
we said in the beginning, like, how did she have all this money? How did she afford this lifestyle? In a way, I want to say is that she was always looking for Big, that
Uh-huh.
kind of man that could afford to give her all the things that she wanted. In a way, it was kind of like she was what would you call her? Like someone looking for someone to pay for all their stuff.
Yeah, like a sugar daddy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what she was looking for. But I do feel I think he truly loved her,
Hmm.
but they weren't equals. Like he saw her immaturity, and we see that clearly as time goes on. I do think that she, in a perfect world, if she wasn't so superficial with a lot of things, I think her and Aiden could have had a great life together. But I think that she deserved Big in the sense
Yeah.
that how he treated her, like, leaving her at the altar, when
Mm.
they got married, she deserved that
Yeah,
because
that
of
was
how
good.
she was with Aiden and how she was with the alcoholic. Like all these things that she did in her past came and bit her in the ass when he left her at the altar. And I honestly, I wouldn't blame him. I feel like when he was faced with it, I don't really think he wanted the commitment at that moment, but he felt pressured by her because he knew that if he didn't commit to her, it was like, okay, well, is she going to leave me?
Yeah, you're so right, Neen, because they
And
were fine. They were happy.
yeah, and he didn't want to get married. He was fine with how they were. And she was just so like it was like this thing. She just I mean, had to get married, like she wanted to. And
And
he
it
was
was
just
because,
like,
but it was also because of the conversations with her
yes.
girlfriends
I was
too.
gonna
It was
say she let the others get in her head.
like she always did.
Uh-huh. And it's so, and I even feel with him, he was like, well, where is this coming from?
He always
Mm.
kind of said that to her.
Mm-hmm.
But she even asked him when he married Natasha, she's like, why wasn't it me? And he said, it
Mm-hmm.
got too hard.
Right. Mm-hmm. And yeah, hello. I mean, come on. I mean, but Aiden to me is just like
Oh,
he's just so dreamy. Like the way he was, he's so sensitive, just so caring, like a true love, like someone that you want. He's like our Kara and Tony,
he is. I think
you
that's what we
know?
love.
Yes.
Yes.
He's completely like that. Like everything that you would want in a man or a
hmm
woman,
hmm
that's Aiden. And
Yes.
sometimes, you know what? It could be staring at you right in the face. And girls like Carrie, okay, don't choose
hmm
those men. They choose the bad boys.
Oh, again, Neen, you and I did too. It's like we all
Mm-hmm.
have to go through this phase.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Because you're afraid of what you're going to miss.
right. And like, would I want this show to have gone differently? No, I think it had
Mhm.
to look at how much she affected us. We it resonated with us in our 20s, but yet in our 40s as grown women, we're like disgusted. And I think
Yes.
that's the point. And
Mhm.
so because there is a layer of selfishness in a lot of women, maybe in ourselves, like to a point,
Mhm.
So yeah.
Definitely.
But
And I think too, like we talked about yesterday, I think it was that, like with Carrie, like we all want a bad boy. But I think that's why a lot of women nowadays, you have that cookie cutter household or that dreamy lifestyle, but you can dive into like novels and stuff and have that like fantasy in your head of what could be. But that could also filter out into your relationship in other ways too,
yeah,
by inspiration that you get through things that you read or, learn about. I think that you could have your cake and eat it too. And I think women like Carrie don't realize that.
exactly. And like I don't want like I don't mean to like poop all over her character. I mean,
Right.
there was some good too, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely in the newer in the reboot, I enjoy her more now. I feel like she's
Mm-hmm.
matured.
Yeah.
And death will do that to someone, I
Yes.
believe. So, but when when she finally was married to Big,
Mm-hmm.
in the second movie, okay, her
Mm-hmm.
behavior was
Mm.
appalling.
It
He
was.
was so like she had the perfect house, she had her dream house, the dream closet, la 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 la. She
Mm-hmm.
started getting pissy because they weren't going out. And he
Yeah.
was like, I'm tired. Can I just rest? And she got
Mm-hmm.
mad at him for bringing takeout. And she's like, nope,
Yes.
let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to a
Yeah.
premiere. Let's do
Mm-hmm.
this. It's like, sit down.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Right.
she kisses her ex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's so funny because I want to say it kind of reminds me of Tony and I
Oh,
sometimes.
okay.
And I don't know, it could be like the age difference too.
hmm
Um, and I could relate to her in that movie. I'm not bratty like that to that extent, and I wouldn't go and like do that with my ex. But um, oh wait, are you still there or did you
I'm here, but you're frozen. There
Okay,
you
you
are.
were frozen too. I was like, we were frozen in
I
time.
wish I was like this.
You were like the
You were like
uh
this.
I was like, okay, do I keep talking? So with her in that movie, and how she, got irritated over the takeout. I wouldn't get irritated over the takeout, but Tony's the kind of person that's more of a homebody. And
Hmm.
that's how Big was. Like, I feel like in the beginning when he was younger, like when they were first going out, he liked, whining and dining her.
Hmm.
And she got addicted to that. Like that, I don't want to say
Uh-huh.
addicted, but she got used to it, but also that's in her. Like
It
she
is.
likes that, lifestyle, and it's all a part of who she is.
Hmm.
And like with Tony and I'm more like, "Oh, come on, let's go out," even like on a Wednesday night. I'm like, "I don't
Yeah.
care." Whereas Tony's like, "Oh, I don't like to go out after I get home from work." And I'm like, and I give him a hard time about it sometimes.
Right,
But at the
right.
same time, like she's good at communicating, but she's sometimes she communicates too much to where she just, I don't know, ruins the moment a lot. And she did
Yeah.
that a lot with Big, to where then he backs off and then she has a temper tantrum and then she moves out of her apartment, and it's just dramatic.
Very dramatic. Oh God. The whole like, oh my God. Oh yeah, the 2 days a week thing. Oh God.
Mhm.
Which I thought it was a good idea
Mhm.
because she would get what she wanted, but
Yeah.
whatever. This is neither here nor there. But I guess we're gonna have to tune in and see this whole Aiden and Carrie. Because of
Mhm.
course Carrie emails Aiden again. So
Of
I
course.
hope I don't get pissed
She's
off.
like the bad penny, you know? Like you just, "Oh, I threw you out."
Or the
Okay.
cat came back the very
Yes.
next day.
Yeah. I'm like, and I think, you know what though? I think that do you think they'll end up together?
I hope so. I want her to have that happily ever after with Aiden too. I
And
think
I
she's
think
done a lot of growing.
they went about it correctly if they're going to go that route, because
Yeah.
I was so hard, even though like I was just so heartbroken when Big passed away.
I was too, and I'm still mad that he was canceled
Oh, completely.
as an actor, but that I'll be here all day talking
Yeah, exactly.
about it. But instead of that, I say we
Whew.
talk about Charlotte York because you were just talking about cookie cutter, perfect life, perfect wife, perfect everything.
Mhm.
And if that is one person, that's going to be Charlotte York. I mean, even her
Mhm.
looks, like her
Yeah.
classic, all American perfect looks.
Yeah.
She's so beautiful.
Everything,
Um,
even down to her hair, how it's always so like
yeah, her sweater's tied around her neck. It doesn't look
uh-huh.
cheesy, but she could also be sexy too. Like there's
Oh,
some scenes where
completely.
she was wearing like a little crop top and yeah, I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
Charlotte. But like
Yeah.
I really loved her character. I thought she was so sweet. Sometimes she was a
Mhm.
bit prudish. She'd be like, "Oh my
Right.
God, Samantha." I remember one time
Yes.
when Samantha was talking about like the episode where Carrie's like, "Can I cancel my rice pudding?" Charlotte like gets up and leaves the restaurant because she can't take. She grabs her purse and doesn't say a word and
Uh-huh.
leaves.
Which
But like,
she's done a lot throughout the
yes,
show. Like that's like
yeah,
kind of her MO.
it is, and I absolutely adore her. She's only ever
Mhm.
pissed me off twice. The first was when she kept forcing her brother to reconsider his divorce to his wives, Wesley and Leslie. And she's like,
Mhm.
no, he's perfect. Blah, 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 blah. And then Samantha ends up sleeping with her brother, and she was
Mhm.
so mean to Samantha. But then
Huh?
she fixed it by apologizing, and it was fine. And then what other? Oh, and then when she and Samantha got into an argument again about Samantha's promiscuous ways, and they didn't. It was
Mhm.
around the time she was going to get married to Trey.
Right.
She's just bratty, but then
Mhm.
it ended up working out. So it was always her and Samantha were always butting heads because they were polar opposites. But then
Mhm.
that particular episode showed how, Charlotte had a little bit of Samantha in her, and
Mhm.
vice versa. Samantha had a little bit of Charlotte because they went and had lunch with like their preppy, she was with her
Yes.
preppy friends and she was too cochina for them. And then Samantha went out with a woman who was even more promiscuous than her. And so they were like, oh, we're perfect for each other. But yeah,
Mhm.
I just loved her. And she was just always looking for the right guy, and
Mhm. Yeah.
Trey.
And
What
then
did you think about Trey?
you know, uh I don't know. I mean, okay, so first and foremost, uh, I adore Charlotte.
Yeah.
I love the fact that she was loyal with her friends. She's very
Yes.
loyal.
She is loyal.
You always need a loyal person in, in a group of friends, right? Like her. Um, when it comes to like her dating history, and I mean, Trey is attractive, but with her personality, I don't think that they didn't fit for me.
They did it. They fit on the outside in terms of they looked like the perfect couple.
Thank you. Exactly. Their physical attributes were perfection,
And he was a
but
doctor.
exactly. But when it came down to it, I just no.
He was too corny for her. And I think they portrayed that so well though, because like,
He
he had
did.
they had the impotence problem and
Mhm.
and I think we talked about that in Fridays with Neen
Mhm.
or about like the little
Yeah.
micro
Uh-huh.
penis. Okay.
Yes.
So they should have like seen what was up prior to tying
Mhm.
the knot, maybe. But
Oh,
again, there's
totally.
arranged marriages and stuff like that that don't. So
Mhm.
but she got herself into that pickle, and what happened? She ends up kissing the gardener because she was just
Yes.
hard up. And you got to
Mhm.
see her struggles, and she shared with her
Mhm.
friends after many months, like, "Oh my God, my
Mhm.
marriage is a fake Fendi." I'll never forget that.
Yes. And I think that was such like a good like she had to go through that because I think with her you look at her and she's that friend that is like perfection all the time.
Hmm.
And like even though we all saw the red flags, we knew that it wasn't going to last, right? And
Yeah,
and she knew it too. It was hard for her to admit that it wasn't going to be something long
yeah,
term. And I think it was hard for her to admit that it was a failure in her
hmm,
eyes, you know? But it was one of the best things that could have happened to her.
hmm,
She learned a lot from it, and it was nice to see her being vulnerable too. Being
yeah.
able to fill out like, okay, it wasn't meant to be, you know?
Yeah, and I love how so I remember they tried for a baby and
Mhm.
she learned that she couldn't get pregnant and it was so sad to
Right.
see that, but I like that they covered that in the show. They did that in Friends with Monica too, and I thought that was important
Mhm.
to show.
Yeah.
Um and then like his mother
I
who
was
was
gonna
so
just say his mother's
funny.
influence.
Yeah, but when they got divorced and she was fighting to keep the house,
Mhm.
and that's how she meets her second husband. He sends a telegram and he
Mhm.
says, "Give Charlotte whatever she wants. She was the perfect wife." I love how that made
Yeah.
me cry. Like I
Mhm.
get teary thinking about that because
Mhm.
he valid like he loved her till you knew he loved her. He loved
Oh,
her after the
completely.
fact.
Yeah, and and I think that's the perfect example of how you could love someone enough, but sometimes you could love someone, but sometimes love isn't enough.
Yeah. Oh, that's
You
sad.
know? Like my dad told me that when I got divorced, but for the first time. But even though I didn't love him, but still, my dad always said, and even when I went through struggles, he always said that. Remember, you could love someone, but sometimes it's not enough. Like you can look at someone in the face, but it doesn't mean that you're meant to be together. Like sometimes life is too big for the challenges that you're trying to overcome. And
Mhm,
it's so true. And I think it was perfect. Like she had this idea of how she wanted her life to be and
mhm.
he couldn't give that to her, and I think she was always going to run into all these roadblocks, especially the fact that she wanted children, and then the crazy mother-in-law, like, and how much a part of their life, like she was so like influencing everything, and it bothered her, and she needed someone that could be what was the name of the other husband?
Harry.
Yeah, she needed someone like him,
He
you
loved her
know.
so much. I
Oh,
love
he
Charlotte and
did.
Harry. Like when she
Yeah.
finally like when she converted for him
Oh
and then they broke
yes.
up and then she went to that singles mixer and then she was like looking
Yes.
for her bald and I will
Mhm.
never forget her little face when the woman was like, "Oh, there's nothing but bald men." And she was like looking
Yeah.
around and she saw him and then she
Mhm.
asked him on a date. I can't. I cry every time
Mhm.
because they are lovely together. And
They
he
are.
supported her with the infertility and they got their
Mhm.
daughter.
Yeah.
I absolutely love her. Love,
Oh,
love, love.
No, I do. And I think that you know what I love is that she's so statuesque. She's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
she's
And then you
gorgeous.
look at him and he's not the most attractive
Typical.
person,
Yeah.
right? But I love seeing when two people like that could come together and have a different, like a beautiful love story. Like they went through their things, you know. Um, but look at they end up adopting and then they end
She
up
got
having a
pregnant.
baby.
Yeah.
So, and and that's something that I always say, and I mean, and I know this has nothing to do with Sex in the City, but it's something you hear about often, is that when you're trying, it's just like in life, when you're trying it, you're pushing for something, you want it so bad and you keep doing it and do it, it'll never happen.
No.
And I know for some people it's just not possible chemically in their body, but a lot of times you hear so many stories about that when people are trying to have kids and it
Mm-hmm.
becomes not about the love,
Mm-hmm.
it's more about the process and want like the end goal, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Y- I think that this is a perfect example of when it's meant to be in God's timing, it will happen. But you
Exactly.
can't take things so seriously. You just got to let it go and not
Yeah.
focus so much. And I think that it was a perfect example of what could have happened to her because of how she is. She's so
Yeah.
anal and so like rigid that
Mm-hmm.
it's like I could see she's very Monica-esque from
Very,
Friends,
very,
where
very.
it's like, okay, we got to do this, da 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 da, and it's not working out for her, and then all of a sudden, okay, we're going to go down this adoption road. Oh my gosh. And then up pops the
Yeah.
devil, and then it
Uh-huh.
happens, you know.
Exactly.
I don't know. I love her. I do think that there were times though she's very too much. Like
She is.
they like
And
kind of like they overdid it sometimes.
so here's the thing. We talked about them doing that with Ross on
Mhm.
Friends. Like he wasn't
Right.
always like the tanning, like okay, ha ha ha, or the leather pants.
Mhm.
It was to the pushing the ridiculous
Right.
way, right?
Mhm.
They did that. They started doing that with Charlotte after the movie. She
Yes.
poops herself in Mexico.
Mhm.
That was funny, but like
Right.
then they kept it up. Then she fell off a camel in Dubai.
Mhm.
And then she had a flash period in
Yeah.
the read. But why is everything silly happening to Charlotte? It's just kind of making a
Right.
mockery of her
Mhm.
character, but like keeping it loose. But like there's other ways to do it. I don't know. I just didn't really care too much for it. But
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for
I can see
sure.
how she can be tiresome, but I do love her. But you know
Mhm.
who I truly, truly love, and that is
Mhm.
one Miranda Hobbs.
Oh, yes. I kind of feel like I don't want to say like you could relate to her in a way. And it's not the fact that she's,
Cynical.
yeah. Or not like in her latter years now, she's exploring her sexuality and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because, the lawyer thing, or I
I
don't
love
know.
it.
Like she's just the way she carries herself in a way, like I don't
Mhm.
know why she reminds me of you.
Oh my God, what a compliment. I love you.
Yeah.
I think she's a
Oh,
baddie.
hold on, but wait, but she also reminds me of someone that Kara would have dated.
Right. Let me roll my eyes.
Right? Like when you look at her, to me, that's someone that in the past,
I'm
okay, because
rolling my
that's
eyes.
someone that like Kara would have talked about before.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia Nixon, Laura
Yes.
Dern,
Right.
all of that. Yeah. Uh-huh. She had a
Uh-huh.
type, ladies and gents. And then she rubbed her eyes and woke up.
Yes, exactly. And then, hello.
Hello.
All
Scares me.
right.
But no,
Aw.
I loved Miranda. I thought she was just so real. I mean, she had some
Mm-hmm.
of the funniest one-liners. Like,
Yes.
when she said, it's my clitoris, not the Sphinx. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was hilarious. Or my ultimate favorite when she was dating a guy that liked to talk dirty in bed.
Uh-huh.
And then she was telling her friends, and she's like, well, what's wrong with that? And she throws her fork down because sex is not a time to chat.
Oh my gosh, she is hilarious. No, she is. And she's very dry.
Oh, she
So
reminds
it
me of my friend
complements
Lena.
that
Yeah.
those one-liners she comes up with because you don't see them coming.
Oh, I love her so much. Like sometimes she could be a harsh, like
Hmm.
like with Carrie, but Carrie needs it. So like
Yes, she does.
when she told Carrie, I don't want to hear it. Like if Big breaks your heart again, and she's like, "What? You're just gonna not talk to me?"
Mm-hmm.
So I think she needed that from Miranda, but that's neither here nor there. But she was just I loved how she was a lawyer. She worked her butt off to become partner, and she did. And I love that she dated a guy like Steve. Steve was such a
Yes.
poodle. I thought he still is. He's such a boo,
Mm-hmm.
and he was so sweet, and he would like soften her. Like she
Yeah,
kind of
he
like
did.
couldn't resist.
Mm-hmm.
I love that she dated that super hot Nick's doctor,
Ooh,
Dr.
hello.
Robert. And
Mm-hmm.
then and then her and Steve had a baby who had red hair,
Oh, yes.
a
It's
fat
so
little
darling.
baby. Like I just
Mm-hmm.
love, and I loved her relationship with her maid slash baby,
Yeah,
caretaker for the baby. Like
nanny.
I
Uh-huh.
loved it. But my favorite moment with Miranda has to be when she and Steve were back together and they went to go check on his mom and they saw the house kind of in shambles. She was kind of
Mm-hmm.
losing it. And she was like, she's going to come live with us. It came from her.
Yeah.
And then he was like, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And
Oh,
then she's over there and like she's with Magda and the baby feeding her son, and then she realizes that the mom had left and she goes
mm-hmm.
racing looking
Yeah.
for her, finds her eating out of a garbage can,
Mm-hmm.
brings her back. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. And then she puts
Mm-hmm.
her in the bath and
Yeah.
Magda catches her
Mm-hmm.
like sees her being so tender and
Yeah.
hugs her, and she's like, you're capable of loving, and that is like the ultimate.
Yeah.
And she's like, don't tell Steve.
Ugh, I
That
know.
gets me every time.
No, for real. And I wonder, like, and that's the thing is like, and I think that's why she is so, like, she's so afraid of to feel,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it was so, I remember, like, actually got chills thinking of that scene because I
Oh,
forgot about it until you
yeah.
said it. And the thing is that when you see her bathing her, and like, you didn't even see that when she had the baby.
Yeah. It was a
Like,
different kind of.
yeah, it was kind of like it was like this little alien. Like she
Yeah.
wasn't maternal at all.
Yeah.
Of course she found her way, over the
Yeah.
years, but um and she wasn't even really like that with Steve, but he did bring things out in her. But
Mm-hmm.
there was always that like looming thing over her head with him.
Mm-hmm. I
Like
agree.
you always had felt like she was on the brink of just telling him I don't want to be there. I'm not into it.
Yeah. And it was because I think that when he wanted to date her when they first met, she was like, no, I don't believe it. I think it was just a one night stand. She kept pushing him
Mhm.
away. And he's like, but I want to get to know you. I want to date. And then she finally like lets go. And then they
Mhm.
begin dating. And so I feel like she always carried that, like, oh, he's gonna all
Mhm.
men leave,
Yeah.
and but also apart from like her dating life, she was like that in her personal life. Remember when
Yeah.
her mom died?
Mhm.
And she went to go get bra for her dress, and the
Mhm.
older lady was helping her try it on. She's like, leave me alone, blah, blah,
Yes.
blah. And then
Yeah.
she finally breaks down and cries in the arms of this stranger because she could
Mhm.
finally let it out. And
Right.
then when she's walking by herself because she doesn't have a husband,
Mhm.
her sister's walking with the husband and kids, and she's walking
Mhm.
into the church by herself, and this is the one time Carrie had my heart. She
Mhm.
starts to cry, and Carrie gets up and walks her.
Mhm. Yeah.
Nope. And then they turn and look, and Aiden and Steve are
I know.
there.
I know. And that's, you know what? And that's like the beauty of this
Oh,
show. I
yeah.
think like in that scene, I mean, there's many scenes that show
Yeah.
this, but in that scene in particular, kind of showed the beauty of that show and how it shows the importance of friends
Mm-hmm.
and how your friends become your family,
Mm-hmm.
you
Your chosen
know?
family.
Yeah. And how she didn't have to tell Carrie that she needed her in that moment. Carrie
Yeah.
already knew that she had to
Oh,
go up there with her, you
yeah.
know? I mean, it's just like it was so powerful. And it was such a beautiful, like it showed her in such, I think there are moments and even in the newer seasons where you see Miranda very like just very vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
like and it's odd to see that because she
Mhm.
always presents herself so strong and like and but she questions that a lot about herself. Like you see where she gets in these, like even how she was so concerned too about Carrie what after Big died,
Yeah.
and I just think that she just didn't have that upbringing where she knew how to love. I just think she's one of those people that was capable of loving. And I think now, and maybe we'll see that in the next season too, is that she's now realizing or feeling all these feelings, even from her past. And she's discovering who she really is, and she doesn't know how to handle that.
Yeah, and while I'm all for her realizing what she may want in life,
Mm-hmm.
I just wish that she didn't do Steve like that. Like that, I didn't like how it was handled. Like
No.
Steve, oh God, it's just hard because I
Mm-hmm.
don't ever want to be like, you need to stay because you have a good spouse, and
Right.
that's certainly, I'm not trying to advocate for that, but like it was just hard that I wasn't looking forward to that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and she kind of just put all her eggs in this basket, not really knowing
Mm-hmm.
what she was getting into. I mean, I think she was
Completely.
expecting full-blown commitment, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Che is really there.
Yeah. No,
And
me neither. I think she's like we were talking about earlier. She's like exploring her possibilities and her she's where she's like very like new age kind of thing. Like she's in a different just phase in her life, whereas Miranda's honestly, like, do you think that Miranda is straight, or do you think that she really is now who she is and who she's becoming? Do you think that she'll ever go back to Steve? Or do you think
I,
she's just like in a cloud because she's so like, oh my gosh, in love with what's
that
her name?
happens. That
Yeah.
happens. Maybe that even happened to me back then, but like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would a little bit. Um, I personally think that I don't think Miranda was ever really straight.
Mm-hmm.
The episode where her boss sets her up with another woman, this is in
Mm-hmm.
season one,
Mm-hmm.
we were all thinking it. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
because she had, mannish suits and a
Right.
short haircut. She
Mm-hmm.
carries herself in a way that, of course, one would probably assume.
Mm-hmm.
I always could envision her with another woman. It just made
Mm-hmm.
more sense to
Yeah.
me than watching all these sex scenes with Steve. Like it just didn't
Mm-hmm.
make sense to me. It didn't
It was kind
fit.
of awkward. Some.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, I
Mhm.
mean, they were not my favorites to watch.
No, exactly, because she always just seemed out of touch, whereas Steve really was
Yeah.
like, into it and what he's
Yeah.
so goofy. I don't know. Steve just, yeah, you know what? I agree. I agree with what you said in the fact that I feel like the way they went about handling the situation with Steve, they did it wrong. I kind of feel like, and I don't want to say like they did it wrong a lot of times because they didn't, but I don't like the fact that a lot of people have gotten hurt, like their hearts have been broken. And I feel like with Steve as a one person, that his heart was already broken once by her. And
Yeah.
like, don't do that to him again. At least, I don't know, like maybe they could have done it to where maybe he cheated on her. You know what I
He-
mean? Like,
but he already did.
yeah, he did. That's right. I don't know.
And
I
they
maybe
and
because he's
they
just so sweet.
I mean, maybe she never really forgave him. Maybe she always
Yeah.
had the thing is, there's a fine line. If you've been cheated on and you're going to accept your partner back, you have to
Yeah.
like really be prepared. Like, have you
Mm-hmm.
100% forgiven them? So
Yeah.
when Carrie was begging Aiden and telling him, you have to forgive me, he should have done that before getting back together with Carrie, not going
Completely.
in resentful. If you're going to go in with a resentful heart or thinking that it's going to happen again, then you shouldn't probably be with that person.
Amen.
And the same could be said for Miranda.
Yeah.
Like, you should have really thought this through and not like,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like she was kind of punishing him even after the fact.
Oh,
Maybe they were setting us up for
completely.
she's going to bounce. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just my
Yeah.
2 cents.
No, I agree. No, and it's true because she always had a chip on her shoulder when she was with
Always,
him. I
always.
felt like she was never fully in it.
Uh-huh. He even said that
ever.
when they were in the therapy session. He
Hmm.
said that when they were considering getting back together. So
Yeah.
totally.
But do you think that she pushed him to cheat?
Yes.
Yeah. See, and I
Yes.
and to me, I just feel like maybe they weren't meant to be.
Oh, that hurts my soul.
I know it does, but I just feel like for him, I feel like she was everything to him.
She was.
And I think
And you could tell it.
he
Mhm.
realized that more when he cheated.
Yep. He was like, oh my God. And there is certainly no excuse to cheat. Like he was
Right.
like, we hadn't had sex in a really long time, but she was
Hmm.
so like, they were more like roommates.
Right.
And I'm sorry, when someone cheats, half the time, it's totally not deserved. Like
No.
like Diane Lane and Richard Gere again. Sorry, we're gonna
Hmm.
always refer to that movie, but she did
Yeah.
not, Richard Gere's character did not deserve to be cheated on because he was
Oh
a
no.
present partner,
Hmm.
loving, blah blah blah. But
Hmm.
when you're in a relationship and you've checked out, like both have kind of like checked out,
Right.
it's only natural that if someone's being paid attention and you're not getting attention or anything at home, there something's probably going to
Mhm.
happen.
Yeah. And I think that she communicated a lot more about, she told him stuff, but I think she really communicated a lot more with the girls
Oh
than
yeah.
with him. And that wasn't benefiting their relationship. And I think that that was her problem, is that if she would have been more honest with him, he might have been like, oh, because he seemed so sweet, like, oh, I want to fix it. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like, oh, like the fact that he would have known that he's on the brink of losing her
Hmm.
might have been the wake up call he needed. Because in my eyes, she was his everything. You
Yeah,
know, obviously,
exactly.
no relationship is perfect, but I just think that she just from the get go, like I've said, for the fifth time already, like they just weren't, unfortunately, meant to be for her. I
Right.
think that maybe now with the new season and her exploring her own sexuality, maybe that was also a reason why it just didn't work,
Yeah,
you
because
know?
if it's going to work with any man, it's going to work with Steve.
Exactly. And I think they were meant to be for a reason, and that
Oh
was
yeah.
their son.
Brady. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But and that was that. And I hope that they end it right with them to where at least they could be friends and that Steve finds the love of his life. I need to see that.
I do too. I really liked his girlfriend Debbie.
Hmm.
Remember, he was with that really pretty girl, and she was with the doctor, and they both
Oh
realized they're still in
yes.
love with each other. I was so sad for Debbie.
Yeah, oh, for real. And I mean, how often does that happen?
Yeah, exactly. So,
So I hope we see that because he deserves that. Like, he can't leave
I
us hanging to where he's just like crying in a corner, like looking
no,
at her with her new
no,
girlfriend.
can't do
You
it.
know
No,
what
no,
I
no, that
mean?
cannot happen. That
Yeah.
cannot happen. But on a brighter note, we saved the best for last, everybody.
Sure did. I'm glad you did.
We had to make
Right?
way for the queen. We're going
Uh,
to talk all things Samantha Jones, Kim
yes.
Cattrall,
Mm,
PR businesswoman to the stars,
mm,
sexy, ageless blonde. This woman does not age.
she
She's
does not.
gorgeous. She looks natural. She's stunning. I love her
Hmm.
arms. I love everything about
Yes.
her. We've seen her ass naked and she looks phenomenal.
Hmm. For
I
real. She
mean,
looks the same way she did from Mannequin.
yep.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. She's just phenomenally beautiful. Like
I just,
I don't know. Like when you think of like a blonde bombshell,
she
like you
comes
could think of many
first.
people, but for me,
It's
she
her.
she exudes just sexiness.
She exudes sexuality and
Hmm.
confidence. The
Yes.
confidence is just, oh my God. I love how she winks with one eye.
Yes, right?
Like,
It's just so subtle and just so
yeah.
like natural. Like that's just who she, and you know what okay, this is what I love about her and
Uh-huh.
I respect about her character and how they made her out to be was that she was unapologetic.
Hmm.
And the fact that she wasn't raunchy. Like, of course, she had her moments where, like, I'm pretty sure that Charlotte might think differently, right? But for her, that was who she was, and she didn't care. But the
Hmm.
way she came across and how sensual she was, it was tasteful. Like, I
Yeah.
guess for some people, if you're, not comfortable with that, it may make you uncomfortable. But for me, the way she was, I just feel like that was just how I mean, there's no problem with expressing yourself. And she did a good job at it. And I think
I
she
totally
opened the
agree.
minds of them a lot. And
I
the people, the viewers.
exactly. And so what I love about her besides that is when she called herself a trisexual,
Oh
meaning
yeah, I
that
remember
she'll
that.
try anything once.
Mm-hmm.
And she sure did. She had her first monogamous relationship. I mean, the micro penis guy, but
Mm-hmm.
aside from him, when she was with the woman, when she was with
Mm-hmm.
the artist,
Right.
and you see her struggles and you see, maybe monogamy is not the way to go. And she wasn't really thinking about being with it wasn't the fact that she was a woman, it was
Right.
just monogamy. And
Mm-hmm.
I loved that about her.
Mm-hmm.
I loved when her and Richard got together because
Ooh.
Richard was
Mm-hmm.
her male equivalent. He
Yeah.
was hot. He was
Mm-hmm.
sexually carefree. He was not about long-term relationships either. But what happened? She ended up falling for him. They were
Mm-hmm.
so beautiful together. And
Yeah.
and then began their monogamous relationship. Unfortunately, he cheated on her. And I
Yeah.
love when she started papering his neighborhood with beware
Mm-hmm.
of this cheater. And then the woman cop's like,
Mm-hmm.
stop doing that. And then she says, I caught him doing this. And then she's like, carry on.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
but then, that was amazing. And then they get back together, but then she just
Mm-hmm.
realizes she can't trust him. But of
Right.
course, how could we be remiss to not mention when she and Smith got together, her little
Mm-hmm.
tenderoni, who he was
Okay.
so
Wasn't
amazing.
he though?
The way he loved her, and she
He
was
sure
just like,
did.
she was kind of like this, like arm's length, Remember,
Mm-hmm.
she even broke her damn foot because he tried to get
Yes.
her hand. And then
Uh-huh.
finally, she agreed to hold his hand. But like the
Mm-hmm.
one time that she pissed me off was when she ran into Richard at the
Mm-hmm.
party,
Uh-huh.
it tells him, you go hang out with your friends, to
Yes.
Smith, has sex with Richard,
Mm-hmm.
which wasn't fulfilling because she realizes
No.
her heart wasn't in it,
Mm-hmm.
goes back downstairs and he's waiting for her,
Yeah.
Smith, and then she starts crying, and um he just holds her and takes, like,
Mm-hmm.
no judgment,
No, none.
because she was always upfront with who she was. And then
Mm-hmm.
that started this amazing, even deeper relationship. I mean, he was by her side when she unfortunately got cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, shaved his head. Like,
Yeah.
like this
Ugh.
man loves her. Like, oh my
Sure
God.
did.
I just literally, I have no words. I absolutely loved the two of them together.
And I think with her, like the fact that she didn't want to waste her time with things. I think that is what led to their downfall, because I think that he was in it till the end. I mean, when he shaved his head, I was like sobbing. Like that whole, like her struggle and how she was so private about it at the same time. And it was you saw a different side of her. You saw her so like vulnerable, sensitive, but scared. That's not the Samantha that we were used to. But I feel like, and I don't know, do you think the age factor had a big thing to do with her? Like I feel like maybe if he was a little bit older,
I
that
think she would have been way more
yeah,
chill. It would have been like
exactly.
Richard,
Yeah, and
because
I
she's,
think
yeah.
she
Mhm.
maybe, I don't know, maybe she would have even married him. I don't know. Like even though she was very anti all that,
I don't ever see her character being married. Like, I think
me either.
I think she's not, it's not meant for her. Like, it's too much against, going against what she stands for. But like long
Cuz
term,
cuz didn't he bring up marriage and it scared the living shit out of her? Was it,
he
or am I
he
thinking
gave
of someone? He
he
gave her
gave her a
something,
ring.
right?
He
Yeah,
gave her a ring for her middle
exactly.
finger.
That's right. And so, but I just, out of all the guys that she was with, though, I thought he was adorable. I thought that he just loved her. And it was nice to see that side of her
It
where
was sweet. It was
it was.
adorable. I loved seeing them together. I thought they were a good looking couple.
Hmm.
I just I just love some of the stuff she got into. Do you remember when she and I don't know who, they were together at a bar and she spots the male version of her, another male
Hmm.
version. His name was like
Yeah.
Tom Rainey.
Uh-huh.
And they meet in the middle of the room and he's like, I know you, their reputation precedes them.
Hmm.
And he's like, let's go back to my place. Like, let's cut to the chase. They go, and then
Hmm.
he's like, when was the last time you had an AIDS test? Like
Hmm.
point blank. And she's like, never. And like, and he's like, well, I can't do anything until like we're both like got a clean bill of health. And then she goes to brunch the next day with the girls,
Hmm.
brings it up, like, have you ever had an AIDS test? And then
Hmm.
Charlotte's like, we're talking about wedding gowns. Can you not talk about AIDS right now? And like all Carrie and Miranda are like, how have you not had one? So then
Hmm.
she goes to have one, but not but before she did, Miranda's like, the worst is when they give you your results, right? But then you're in the room waiting and then they motion to some people to come to the back to talk
Hmm.
privately, and the news isn't good.
Yeah,
So then
exactly.
she is waiting to get her results and the nurse is like, come with me, and motions
Hmm.
for her, and then
And
she
she's
passes out.
oh my gosh, that's
I love
amazing.
that episode. And then of course the episode, this I'm going to bring up a Carrie Bradshaw piss off moment, but when
Hmm.
she is helping Carrie get some looks together for her book cover, and they go to a
Hmm.
lingerie store because, hi, Carrie writes a book about sex. Okay, so
Hmm.
I'm with Samantha so far.
Hmm.
And Carrie is just the most judgmental little stick up her butt about the whole thing because 30 minutes prior, she went to Samantha's office unannounced and caught Samantha and the UPS driver. So
Hmm.
then she is like acting weird and judgy. And Samantha's like, I'm not going to apologize for being who I am and I'm just going to leave. And Carrie does this face at her a lot in this. She goes like this,
Hmm. She
like,
does.
why are you overreacting? She did that 3 times.
Hmm.
I was like, you better wipe that look off your face because you do look crazy. Like
Hmm.
you're the crazy one, not her.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
because Samantha, okay, I would be shocked if I walked in and caught you and Tony.
Yeah,
I'd be like, oh my God,
exactly.
but then I would be like, what the fuck?
Right. You just kind of like, what, oh my God. You're like, it's a shock factor, but you don't like hold on to it.
And you don't judge, especially
Exactly.
knowing that that's how your friend is. Like
Hmm.
it's just a Tuesday, that when has she ever hidden who she is?
Right. Never.
And the same with when she dated the older man, the 70-year-old guy,
Hmm.
that was her first time she was a sugar baby and she did it for
Right.
a little bit, but then she saw the old man butt and she went out the door. Or when she dated the little short guy
Oh gosh. Yeah. And
and he shopped in the kids department.
oh my God. You know what? That was perfect. That was so funny. Did
Or
not expect that.
no, or the guy that was too big.
Yes. And it's like, she's, I think there was a part where she was like, how's that? Like, I guess it took her back. Like, how's that possible? Okay. Really sorry. I have someone, Tony's calling me, but whatever. Um, you
He knows
know,
what you're talking about.
I know, right? Like, when would everybody say that someone say that they're too big? And
I
that
know.
even took her by surprise, you know?
Exactly. And she called it her Everest. And then she's like, I
Hmm.
can't do it. Get out.
I love it. No, she was amazing. Hold on real quick. I'll edit this. Let me tell Tony real quick because he's gonna keep texting me, recording show. Okay, I'll edit this out.
Oh, that's okay. It shows how
Sorry.
real we are.
Okay.
No, but I am excited because I did miss Samantha in the reboot because
I
how are you going
did.
to have a Sex and the City reboot without the four girls? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad enough that we've already lost Stanford because sadly the actor passed away.
Yeah.
And now we don't have Big.
Mm-hmm.
But Samantha was like she was the force that drove the show.
She was.
And when I saw that she was gonna be cameoing, I was like, yes, please, like give us
Mm-hmm.
something,
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Yeah.
Like the
Something.
references, even when Carrie was texting Samantha, texting with her, that felt very real to me. Like that whole when you haven't talked to a friend who was your best friend, and then
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
No,
So
for real.
I'm very much looking forward to her comeback, however
Oh
small
yeah.
it's gonna be. I'm excited. I love this show. I rewatch it every year. I can't. It's like it's my comfort show. So it's always
Mm-hmm.
like right now I'm on the episode where she and Miranda run into Steve and Aiden.
Oh
Not
yeah.
the one where she like practically forces him to get back together, but like
Mm-hmm.
they think that they're just drinking because they miss them, but in reality they're there on dates. It was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious. And
I love
yeah,
that. Mm-hmm.
so that was
I
awesome.
I so out of all of okay, so out of all the characters, who is your favorite?
It's tied for me. I have Samantha and Miranda.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that.
I
I
mean,
know.
honorable mention goes to Anthony Marantino, Charlotte's gay
Mm-hmm.
best friend. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those are mine. What
I
about
know
you?
he's so adorable. He's hilarious. Yeah, I would have to say actually my favorite, obviously, and I think you already know, is Samantha.
Yeah, she's just fabulous.
Yeah, I loved everybody. But Samantha, I don't know, she was just very real.
I
And
mean,
that's what I appreciate about her. Like, and I love the fact that she taught women too that you don't need a man,
exactly.
you
She is
know?
the man.
Yeah.
It's very Cher. Remember that
Hmm.
quote
Oh,
that
completely.
Cher in her interview? She's like, I don't need to bring home a man. I am the man. I am a powerful man. Yeah, her
Oh,
mom
I
was like,
love
you should
that.
marry a rich and powerful man. And she's like, I am a
Mhm.
rich and powerful man.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And I believe what's her name? Samantha said something to the effect of what is it? Something like my vagina waits for I think it's my vagina
My
waits for
vagina waits
no
for no
man.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like only her she could say those type of things and you totally get it.
Totally.
And I don't know, she's just to me when it comes to especially that in the 90s, early 2000s and stuff, I think that you didn't really see a lot of characters like her.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it was just very refreshing. And in the reboot, you're right. Um, I just feel like there was a missing piece. Like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing too, is like when they do these reboots, I think it's very important to have all of the characters. Obviously, if someone passes away, that's one thing. But there's a certain magic when these characters are together in the beginning. And if you're trying to recreate it and you're missing one, she really was like a huge link to all of them. She was the part that like it's kind of like the show is a little off. It had captivating scenes, captivating storylines, and then you have, is it Shay? Is that her name in the new one?
Okay. Yeah.
You have Shay, but still, it wasn't her.
Yeah.
And I know they brought her on to kind of have that sexual influence and that diversity, and it's great, and I love her character, and I hope they keep with her. But I think that I hope they could look past whatever's going on. Do we know what's going on between them?
I don't. It was just, it's very like, I think there was like some stuff on Twitter, like
Mhm.
between them. Like her mom died or something, Kim Cattrall, and like Sarah Jessica Parker sent her condolences.
Mhm.
And then she was like, she called her out.
Wow.
Kim Cattrall called her out and specified some things. I'll have to find those tweets and send them
Oh,
to you.
dang. Interesting. Ooh,
Yeah.
crap. Man, that's deep.
But no, really quickly before we end, who was your favorite celebrity cameo in the
Ooh.
original series?
Oh man, I'm trying to think. Celebrity cameo. Hold on. Let me think. You go. I have to refresh my memory. It's been a minute. You tell
Yeah.
me yours and let me look at
Mine
some.
mine would have to be David Duchovny
Oh,
and Bon
I
Jovi.
oh my God, Bon Jovi. Yes.
And
Oh,
it's funny because both are like psychiatric. Like David Duchovny's
yes.
character is at a psych house and Bon Jovi's at her therapist's office.
That's right. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I want to say, okay, I'm looking. They had a lot. You know what? You know what it is like when it happened, I guess I really didn't think of like the people that were famous, or maybe they weren't as famous until later. Like, I don't remember. Do you remember Bradley Cooper being in there?
Yeah, it was her 40s, and 40 and fabulous question mark, where she was
Ah.
photographed for a cover of a magazine and she was all tore up with no makeup.
I totally forgot about that. Oh my gosh, yeah, there's so many.
You
Honestly,
know,
I can't.
I'm gonna throw one more in. Sorry, Vince
Uh-huh.
Vaughn. He was hot.
Yeah. Oh man, that's for sure. Shoot, he sure is, right?
Yeah.
Um, you know what? And man, Jennifer Coolidge, Carrie
Yep.
Fisher, Andy
Carrie
Cohen, we
Fisher.
know is in there.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a lot. Honestly, man, even Jerry Halloway or
Yep.
Hallowell.
And Halliwell, and then Hugh Hefner and some bunnies. Like there was a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people that were in there.
Yeah, there were. How did you feel question about what's her name in even Alanis Morissette was in there.
Oh yeah, that was the bisexual
Yes.
episode.
Mm-hmm. Did you like Jennifer Hudson's role in the movie?
She was
I personally
cute.
thought it was cheap, like kind of
It was
corny,
cheesy. Like I
cheesy.
felt sometimes I'm like, but I thought it was cute. Like I
It
thought
was.
it was necessary. It was a different friend for her.
Mm-hmm.
So I did like it. And yeah, it could have done without it though. Like it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like you needed to do it. But like one thing about the bisexual episode, like we
Mm-hmm.
were talking about this off air,
Mm-hmm.
Carrie says a sentence
Mm-hmm.
that has been said to me, but she
Mm-hmm.
said it in a more like Hollywood way.
Right.
She called bisexuality a layover on the way to Gay Town.
I
That's
do. You
right.
know what? I do recall that because I could see her saying that.
Yep.
I could
And
see the
that was the
scene in my
episode.
head.
Exactly. And that was the episode where she dated that really cute guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was bi. And it was like when she's now as an adult and I hear it, it just grates on my nerves
Mm-hmm.
because that has been said to me. And it was, yeah, it's not cute.
Yeah.
But
I
again,
just
all of
well,
our shows have
mhm.
these issues that are now coming to light now. Like, oh, ooh, they shouldn't have said that, like
Yeah. Oh, hold on real quick. I'm Tony.
is he
Well,
okay?
we might see Tony come in because he left his clothes in here.
Okay.
So that's why he was calling me because they're going to a movie with Presley. He's taking her
Oh,
a
okay.
movie. So I don't know where they are, but anyways, but why do you think that's the case though? With why do you think people think that when it comes to do you feel like when people say they're bisexual that people think that maybe that people are still confused?
Undecided. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's offensive. It's like, and that's why nowadays people are being so much more vocal about all the different categories that one may fall in. It's so different from how it was in the 90s for sure.
Mhm.
And I can't wait to talk more in depth with you about that. But like in a
Yes.
nutshell, it's just very like, who are you to say? Like, if you're a straight like person, you
Mhm.
shouldn't have a voice. Actually, you shouldn't have any
No.
comment. You shouldn't have any any
Mhm.
comment. You can have your thoughts. Maybe tell it to your other straight friends, but like, do not tell it to somebody who comes out to you as any kind of sexuality. Like, there's no
Yeah.
room for commentary, and I'll
Mhm.
leave it at that.
No, I agree. And just to one thing I just wanted to bring up real quick because I think that's a perfect example of what I've been seeing a lot on a lot of the because Presley watches a lot of the 90s shows,
Hmm.
um, is how crazy in the 90s people made a joke of the word gay. Like
Hmm.
it was used so loosely.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh, that's so gay. La la la. Yeah.
yeah. And even I don't know if it was Friends or if it was a movie we saw. I can't remember, but there was a comment that someone made about like, "Oh, is he gay?" Or the way and we saw it in Sex and the City, like how she said that
Yes.
comment, but even other scenes, like how it was just kind of like the brunt of a lot of jokes and I'm like, wow, like you know, and it's funny, times change, but it's weird how when you look back at these things from back then, you don't realize how much it was thrown around and not taken seriously at all with the context that it was
Hmm.
used.
Exactly.
you know? So
Definitely.
we'll touch on that more in the next Fridays with Neen because it is a
Mhm.
big issue and it's very enlightening. And I think the whole thing about it is that now I understand more too of like why it's important and why people are so sensitive about certain things. And the thing is like if I've always learned, and it's not just with this, but just with anything else, like
Mhm.
if you're like they always say, if you have nothing nice to say, just don't say it. Or if you're unsure about something, maybe it's best to not say anything at all, or just
Ask.
ask,
Exactly.
you know? Because I mean, if you're not educated on something like anything else, ask questions. And
Mhm.
it's, what's that old saying? You make an ass out of your, don't assume, because that
Mhm.
only makes an ass out of you and an ass out of me. Like,
Exactly.
it's just people, but I see in the 90s how it's crazy because when you think about it, the 90s wasn't that long ago. It really wasn't in retrospect, but we've come a long way.
Definite light years.
Yeah.
Several circles around the sun.
Totally. And it's nice
Total.
to have these shows though to kind of remind us of that,
Yeah.
to where we could see like how much we've grown as a society. We still have a long ways to go, but just from back then compared to now, I mean, just look at from the way this was filmed back then and the topics that were brought up to the new series, right?
Mhm.
There's a big difference.
Yeah.
So no, I don't know. It's one of those shows, Sex in the City, where it's like a feel good show though. I love it. I'll always love it. And it's one of those shows, it's like a good book. You could just watch it over and over again and never
Hello.
get sick of it.
Exactly. That's why I watch it every year. And the
Mm-hmm.
movies too. The movies are amazing. I mean, a little like ridiculous, like the Dubai
Yeah.
one, but I still will
Oh yeah.
always watch. And I'm just very grateful for it. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
grateful for that we got to know these characters and I'm excited to see what's to come.
I agree. Same here.
Yeah.
Fabulous stuff. I love it.
Fabulous. I wish we had some cosmos.
Okay, we should have. Crap, even though it's too early, although it's 5 o'clock somewhere and it is a Friday.
Exactly. Maybe later.
Okay, shoot.
Oh
But
man, that was fun.
it was. Thanks, Steph.
Thanks,
Thank you so much because you
cuteness.
were you were amazing. You were like a TV prodigy. You really are. Like you have a memory like Tony where you can it's like with him it's like movies and you're the same way. Like you can remember scenes, you could remember like I always get so like in awe of you and how
Me, you
good of a
too,
mem
though.
no,
Thank
like
you.
yours is like way better because I'm like when you said celebrities, I was like, huh? Like I just can't I don't think I just watch stuff. It's not,
Yeah, no, totally.
I just love how you can remember quotes and everything and scenes. I just love it. You're
Thank
amazing.
you, cuteness. Oh,
Yeah.
you're so cute.
Oh,
Oh, you're fabulous.
well,
You're as
takes one to know
fabulous as
one.
a Cosmo at a what time is it? 11:50 on a Friday morning.
Okay. That is fabulousness right there. That
It
whole
sure, it's very
idea
decorated.
behind that. But anyways,
Yeah, without further ado, have an amazing weekend. I'll see you on Sunday. I'll talk to you
yes.
before then.
Yay.
But until next time, catch you on the flip side, the fabulous flip side.
Yes, and have fun tonight at your
Ooh,
prom. I can't wait to
thank
hear more
you.
about it. Peace out, buddy.